video is on FIF 7A, graphing. This specific method is using the slope intercept method. The slope intercept method, the original form is y equals mx plus b. I like to say you move with the m and you begin with the b. This will make more sense on the next slide. Sometimes you will have to get your formula into the y equals mx plus b. To look at that standard, it's ACED4. But all of these are already in slope intercept form, so all we have to do is identify the slope and identify the y-intercept, and then we'll graph our line. So in this case, the slope is the m. It's what's in front of the x. So the slope, or m, is 2. And I'm going to put that over 1, which will make sense here in a moment. And then the y-intercept, the b, or the y-intercept, is this number right here, which is 1. So what you do is on the y-axis, which is this axis right here, you're going to start at 1. So I'm going to put a dot at 1. And from the beginning, the b of 1, you're going to move with the slope, and you move rise over run. So a rise of 2, 1, 2, and run 1, and you're going to put a dot. You're going to go up 2 over 1 and put a dot. Up 2 over 1, put a dot. As you can tell, I have the beginning of a line. Once you have the line, you draw through the dots, and then you put arrows on the ends. Please use a ruler because it makes it a lot nicer. Example number 2 is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 4. We're going to go ahead and label our m, which is what's in front of the x, which is negative 1/2. It's a fraction, which is nice because it's rise over run. If it wasn't a fraction, you'd want to put it over 1. And then begin is negative 4. You take the signs in front of the coefficient and the constant, because if you don't, your line's going to be slightly off. So we begin at negative 4, which means we go down 4 on the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have a point right here. And from there we're going to move. It's negative. Since it's negative, we're going to move down 1 to the right 2. I always suggest when it's negative to move down and then move to the right, because then you know for sure that it's going to be a downhill negative slope. If you move any other way, just double check at the end, which you should do anyway to make sure you're getting it right, is just double check that it's going downhill. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my line. Again, use a ruler, and then put arrows on the end. My line is going downhill, my line is negative, so this is the correct answer. Example number 3 is y equals negative x plus 1. A lot of people might go, well, there's not a number where m is. Anytime there's not a number in front of the variable, the number is 1. So in this case, the m is a negative 1, and you want to put it in as a fraction, so it's negative 1 over 1. And my b is 1. So I'm going to start at 1 on the y-axis, and I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. I have my line, use my ruler to draw through it, put arrows on the end. There's my answer to y equals negative x plus 1. This last slide is on special cases. Special cases, there's no really method to graphing them, but there are some little tidbits that you can use. The first one is y equals 2. So how I would do this is I would label my axes. This is x and this one's y. Since it's y, on the y-axis I'm going to go to 2 and I'm going to put a point. What I need to do is I need to draw a line through the y-axis, meaning it has to go through this point here, but it has to go through it. So I'm going to draw it like this. So I'm going to draw my line this way. The other thing to do is, no matter what x is, y is always going to be 2. So you could just put a bunch of little dots at 2 and then draw your line through it. Same thing for x equals -3. I usually just go on the x-axis to -3 and draw my line going up and down because it has to go through that axis. Or I can also think any value of y will give me the value x equals -3. So I could put a bunch of little dots on -3 and then draw my line. Arrows on the end. So then you also have your special cases. Y gives you a horizontal line and x gives you a vertical line. Lastly, here are some problems to try. I would suggest trying 3 of the 5 problems. Number 1 is y equals 2x minus 3. Number 2 is y equals x plus 2. Number 3 is y equals -3x minus 2. 4 is y equals 3. And 5 is x equals -2. Good luck on graphing lines using the slope intercept method.